Oh, yeah, okay, we're official, we're starting.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, that's our tape, right? We don't want to keep using it, okay? But I see what you're doing. Thank you. Okay, so guys, let's try to really focus, so Basie and Rico. Let's try to really stay focused for the lectures, okay? The lectures lately have been too wild. You guys are not listening, you're not paying attention, and it's just not, it's helpful if you do. Okay, so we're going to talk about solving systems of equations again, only there are 3 useful methods for solving them, at least that we're going to cover this year. There are others that you'll cover in future years, but for this year, the 3 methods are, the first one was graphing, right? You graph both equations on a line, and where they cross is the place you're looking for. The trouble with that is what?
Sometimes it's not as accurate.
It's not as accurate. Sometimes they cross in the middle, like somewhere in there. That's not on a corner of the grid, right? And once that happens, you have no idea what that is. You know what I mean? There's an infinite number of fractions that it could be. So, graphing is fun, but it's not very practical. Okay, so Rosemary. Substitution is our first method, our second method, and that was our first algebraic method, right? Elimination is our second algebraic method. So we'll have graphing, substitution, and elimination. Okay? Now, sometimes substitution is by far the easiest way to solve something, solve a system. Sometimes elimination is by far the easiest way to solve something, and sometimes it doesn't matter. They're both kind of easy, right? Now, would that one be easy to do with substitution method? Rosemary, come on, put that away, please. Right? Would that be easy to do with substitution method?
No.
All right, well, let's just try. Which one would you solve for x or y?
Probably the top one.
The top one? So let's just try for a second. So 2x plus 3y is equal to 11. So what would you solve for, x or y?
I would solve for x.
Solve for x? Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to subtract 3y. Subtract 3y. We have 2x is equal to 11 minus 3y. You guys agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, divide everything by 2.
Divide everything by 2.
So it's now 11 halves equals.
So now,
It'd be x is
Now,
equal
this
to
is what I have.
5.5.
that has to go, that's what x is, right?
Yeah.
X is that. So now I'm going to have to come to this one, and I got to plug this into this, right? Now in this case, that wouldn't be so bad because the 2's would cross out, but I would still have to multiply a -1 times everything. But sometimes it's a horrendous fraction that you're dealing with when you're substituting it in. So it's doable, yes, it's doable, no question. And you guys know how to do it. You know how to solve equations with fractions, right? But it's not the easiest way, right? When you see the easiest way, you're going to be blown away. Because in one move, I will already know what my x is.
Are we going to cancel everything?
Well, in 2
or
moves,
something?
I will know what my y is, sorry, not my x. But yes, does anybody, as you look at these 2 equations, do you notice anything?
There are 2 2's.
There's 2 2's. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. Do you guys
So
see that?
then you could just have x and negative x.
So the elimination method is sometimes called the add and subtract method, right? Sometimes elimination, they say, by adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting. But the most common term you'll hear it described as is elimination. So the coolest thing, and I think this is like magic. I really do. Every year I have to rethink, why does this work? But in essence, what we're going to do is we are going to draw a line under these 2 equations, and we are going to add the 2 equations together.
What?
What?
Okay then. But then how do we have...
What happens when we do that? 2x minus 2x is what?
Well, it's 0.
Yeah.
It's nothing. 2 apples minus 2 apples is no apple, right? You don't have anything.
You're F+.
8y.
Wait a minute. You just eliminated the x's. In that one move, you eliminated all x's.
But then what does the x equal?
So,
How do
well,
we
we're not
find
No,
there
but
yet.
we're finding the y.
We're going to find the y.
But how do we
So what do we have? We have 3y's
But you
plus
find,
5y's.
but you find the y first and then you solve the x.
Yes.
Yeah, 8y
Right.
equals 24. Yeah.
So we've got suddenly 8y is equal to 24, right?
Yeah.
I'm adding 3 plus 5 is 8. What's happening?
I had a question.
Okay. What's your question? I'll answer.
Well, it's just kind of confusing because even if we find y, I don't understand. Don't you have to have y and x, or in this case, does y
Yeah.
only?
So the process with elimination is you try to find the coefficient, the number in front of the x, of the two x's. You want them to be the same number but opposite signs. And notice they are the same number but they're opposite signs. And when we add the two equations together, we eliminate the x's. Those equations are still there, right? We still have those equations with x and y. But by adding them together, we eliminated all the x's, and now we're going to solve for y. And once we find y, we're going to go back to the original two equations, either one of them, and we're going to plug the answer for y into here, and we're going to solve for x. So we will have x and y, right? So the first process, yes.
Y equals 3.
So exactly. So we added these 3y plus 5y is 8y, right? Everyone understand? 11 plus 13 is 24. We're going to divide by 8, y is equal to 3. So we know y, but we're not done yet until we figure out what x is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come up here and I choose whichever one I think is easiest. It doesn't matter. Because you'll get the same answer no matter which one. But I'm going to do the top one. 2x plus 3. Instead of y, I'm going to write times 3. Times what y equals, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm just substituting this 3 in for this y equals 11. So now I have 2x plus 9 equals 11. Right? Yeah? Yes, because you're going to subtract 9. You have 2x is equal to 2. Divide by 2, x is equal to 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See how easy that is? All we had to do, though, what was key was that we had to find one of them. We had to make sure that one of them in front of the coefficients in front of the x's or the coefficients in front of the y's were the same number except one was positive, one was negative. And nicely, that was given to us already. You agree with me? Yes.
How do you do it if it's not the same?
Tomorrow. We're going to do that tomorrow. I just want you to practice this process today. This is a really easy homework assignment. Because all you're going to have to do is add them all together, and you're going to eliminate one of them immediately.
So we don't need to find x on tonight's homework. We just need
No,
to find
you
y.
have to find x and y.
Okay.
But they're ready to be added.
Got it.
If they're not, let's say that said 2 and that said -4. They're not ready to be added yet.
So then.
There's something else we'd have to do, and that's tomorrow's lecture.
Okay.
So I'll explain that tomorrow.
But on the homework, none of them are going to say -4. And
All you're going to have to say on the homework tonight, all you're going to have to do is draw a line and put a plus sign and add them together. And you will have immediately eliminated one of your variables.
I did.
Okay? Okay? So let's try this one. Here's our, let me get rid of this. Let's try this one. So suddenly, let's look at our coefficients in front of our x and y. For my x's, I have 4 and -2. They're not the same number, right? Okay, in front of my y's, I have -3 and +3.
Oh, so you
Yes.
would, so you
So
would
I'm
do
ready
the
to
same-
add, right? They will eliminate. Is that what you're going to say, Dan? I mean, Jaden, I'm sorry. Is that what you're going to say? So we're ready to add. So what do I have here? 4x's minus 2x's.
2x.
I have 2x's. And notice those cross out. I don't have to write anything. I'll just put an equal sign. 5 minus 7 is -2.
Yep.
And I just divide by 2. Divide by 2. x is equal to
Negative 1.
negative 1.
And then you would go to the top with your negative 1.
Right, so 4 times negative 1
Negative 4.
minus 3y equals 5. You're right. So negative 4 minus 3y equals 5.
Then you would add negative 4.
Add 4.
Or, yeah.
Then
Then negative 3y
Negative 3y
is equal to
is
9.
equal to 9. Divide by negative 3.
Y is equal to negative 3.
Y is equal to negative 3. All right, so there's my answer. Now, if you wanted to write these as coordinate points, you could. You could say negative 1 comma negative 3. Right? That's also the correct answer, either way. Fist of 5. It's pretty easy, right? Once you realize it. But notice, this one would have been hard to solve with substitution as well.
Yeah.
And in 2 moves, I figured out my x. Whereas if I had used substitution, it would have been like 7 moves. I mean, like it would have taken some time. You with me? That's why having these different tools in your tool belt are really, really useful. Because suddenly, wow, let's see. But it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to look at systems and you're going to have to say, what's the easiest way? Rico, I'm sorry. You're going to have to look at a system and have to say, ask yourself, what is the easiest way to solve this? Do I use substitution or do I use elimination? You probably won't use graphing unless I specifically ask you to, okay? Because the most powerful method are the algebraic methods here, okay? Questions? You guys need me to do any more, or does it make sense? Okay, so I'll give you the homework. Okay. Awesome.
After class, yeah.